Welcome to the What's New in Forecast Pro TRAC version 5. In this video, what we're going to do is look at the new bookmarking feature that's been added in Forecast Pro. So what's bookmarking? Bookmarking is the ability to remember the view in the settings that you're looking at any one time within Forecast Pro. So while there are 10 different windows within Forecast Pro, you may use each at a different point in time for a different function. And so what the bookmarking allows you to do is to pick the very specific screens with the very specific settings you'd like to do in order to accomplish specific tasks. So on an ongoing basis, what you'll usually do is look at very specific views as you work. And the bookmarks allow you to streamline this process and use it very efficiently. What I'm going to do is show you an example of this. So we're going to do 3 distinct steps within our project. First, we're going to load in overrides and dollars and make adjustments in both units and dollars. Once we're done with that, we're then going to use the item report to get a list of new products in our project so that we can apply new product models. Then third, what we will do is we'll look at exception reports to look where we've actually been forecasting both accurately and not accurately on a 2-month and a 3-month lead time. On an ongoing process, we would look at these 3 steps each time we forecast. And so we'll create a bookmark for each of these steps so that we can really streamline the process. Okay, so here we are in Forecast Pro, and I've opened up our standard auto parts data. What I have open on the screen right now is my override and my graph. What I'm going to do is customize the override by going to the Override Design dialog box, and I'm going to turn on my conversion row for dollars. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll also turn on the history to see the data as a time series. So I can now scroll left to right to see the dollars both in the history and in the future period. So what I would then do is obviously on my normal process, I could go in and make some overrides. So for instance, I could set this to 300 and type in my comment. So set to 300 and commit this. But it's this very specific view that I want to remember, where I have the overrides and the graph turned on. I have my dollar row turned on, and I'm looking at the history as a time series. So I'm going to create a bookmark. So up here is our new bookmark feature. And it works very similar to how you would see in a web browser. We have our little star icon, and you can see I can add bookmarks and do other things to it. So I'm going to add a bookmark, and I'm going to call this Step 1, Overrides. And go ahead and say OK. And this has created a bookmark that remembers that what Step 1 overrides are is my override window open, formatted this way, and my graph open, formatted this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close these 2 windows and proceed to my second step, which is I want to review new items that have been added to my project this month. And I'm going to do that by turning on the item report and the graph. Now here in the item report, I'm going to filter based off of the number of months of history. So I'm going to go in here and filter, and I'm going to do this as a numeric filter, less than or equal to 6 months. So I'm going to choose where I have less than or equal to 6 months of history, and this will give me a list that I'm then able to review. So I can go here to this item that was just added with 1 month, and I could apply some sort of new product forecast. Perhaps I could use a component model, which I've already set up, and this will apply my seasonal pattern for me. But this kind of reviewing of new products is something I want to do every month. So what I'm going to do is create a bookmark, a new bookmark for it. So I'll click on my star icon and add a new one. And I'm going to call this Step 2, New Products. And this will remember that I have my graph and my item report open, my item report filtered to just look for my new products that have been introduced. Another step in my process, I'm going to close these. And I'm going to open up my exception report. And I want to look at forecast accuracy. So I'm going to go in here and go to my exception report settings. And I'm going to choose our new forecast accuracy tab. The new exception reports are explained in one of our other videos. And I'm going to set this to compare against the forecast with the lead time of 2. I'll say OK. I'll filter this just to look at end items. And I'll filter this based off of the largest unit deviation, largest to smallest. So show me where I have performed the worst. And I can actually go again and open the graph and double click, and here's my first item. And I can start reviewing these items. And I'll save this view to a third bookmark. I'll call this Step 3, accuracy, lead time 2. Now I might also want to look at items that have a lead time of 3, so I can come back to this report, change this to a lead time of 3, because I'm looking at accuracy on a lead time of 3 months. This changes the report, and so I'm going to create a 4th bookmark. It's going to say step 4, accuracy, lead time 3. And what you'll now see is I have 4 different bookmarks that are available to me. And I can now, when I come back next month, walk through these steps one at a time. I'll go to step 1, and what you'll notice is it will reformat everything. It will close the other windows and reload my new window here, which shows my override grid with my dollars, with my time series history. When I'm done with that, I can go to step number 2 to look for my new products, which will go and open my item report. It will filter it for my items with less than 6 months of history and allow me to start reviewing. Step number 3 is to look for my accuracy at a lead time of 2 months, and it will forecast that, showing me the highest ones first. And then my accuracy of a lead time of 3 months, and it will go and load this in for me as well, and I can start reviewing. So allowing me to create these bookmarks can allow me to set up a very defined forecasting process that I can repeat over and over again. Now there are a few other options that we have available to us I just want to briefly mention. You can see that I can rename the bookmarks. I can also remove bookmarks if I want to. I can also refresh them. What if I wanted to look at this with the lead time, but what if I wanted to sort it instead of by unit, by percent deviation? So I'll change this. Now you'll notice this no longer matches that bookmark. But what I can do is I can go in here and say refresh. And instead of having to create it from scratch, I can just say, no, I want my step 4 to actually look like this instead. And say, okay, and that refreshes my bookmarks. The bookmarks are saved in the projects and they will be restored each month. They will also recalculate each month. So what I can use these for is to clearly define my monthly process so that I can repeat it each month over time.